Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Bracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So some of the people, they sent me the request also. So we thought maybe just we'll spend some time because we recently discussed this Navda Bhakti 9 sessions. So some of the people requested me, they were asking me that if we can have some question answer. So let's just spend some few minutes in discussing some question answers. If anybody has any questions, you can either put on chat or you can unmute yourself and ask the question. And those who are here in person, you can ask in person. I also completely forgot to mention in the group that we'll be having the question answer session today. Anybody has the question? Those who are joining online? Okay, so there is this comment on Hare Krishna Prabhuji, it is Ratha Yatra time, so some katha and pastime would be appreciated. Okay, so this is about Ratha Yatra. Okay, we'll talk about that. Anybody has any other question or anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. If there is any scope or time, could you also explain when we should consider any circumstance or situation to be an opportunity for us to act versus what is not supposed to be acted and we just have to leave it to God, saying that it's just a fate. It applies to both oneself and as well as, when there is a group and we witness certain event in a group. So when should we consider when to act and when should we consider to stay calm and stay silent without acting, considering it as a destiny?
Okay, so we'll talk about that. Okay, anybody has any other question, you just put in chat or maybe just say the question, then I'll see that how we'll take the questions. So we can just streamline the whole thing and that itself become like a whole discussion. Anybody has the question here? No questions? Everybody is satisfied. Yeah, devotional service can be, it's a process of devotional service. So how do you do the devotional service? So there are different ways of doing devotional service, which is through Navda Bhakti. By hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, everything is devotional service only. Different ways of performing devotional service. Yeah, so Prabhupada says at one place that if one can, like we saw the examples, right? You can attain perfection by just doing one aspect of Navda Bhakti. Like Shravanam, Parikshit Maharaj is the example to attain perfection. And like that. But if you carefully see, Srila Prabhupada has created such a system in the temple that we every day on day-to-day basis, we almost follow all the 9 steps of Navda Bhakti. That is what Prabhupada has created the system. If we sincerely and strictly follow what Prabhupada has given us, then we'll be doing all the 9 aspects. Okay. So let me just take that question first, and then probably if there's no more question, then I'll go to this Ratha Yatra thing. So the question asked by one Mataji, that how to determine that when to respond to certain situations or when to leave it to the Lord, right? Because we say that anyway, Krishna is in control. Krishna will take care, and we should not bother too much. So there is a very fine line, because in the name of Krishna will take care, one cannot become lazy or irresponsible. Krishna will do. Now, how Krishna will do, we need to understand how Krishna will take care. Okay, now in principle, we can talk about specifics may differ, like when to respond to the situations. Something which really needs your attention in terms of like say some kind of a situation where it hampers your purpose, any purpose. Most importantly, your spiritual purpose, that is the first priority. Otherwise, also, if it hampers your material purpose, then it needs your attention. We had to do the needful. So like it can be related to your work. Somebody is creating some problem, somebody is trying to exploit an individual. It can be in the family, it can be in the society, in the relations, right? To one extent we can tolerate, and that is one of the principle that Krishna mentioned, that first of the item in the Bhagavad Gita, which is Tam Titikshasva Bharata. One should learn to tolerate. But now question is, when we talk about this tolerance, to where to draw that line, that till this line I'll tolerate and beyond that I'll not tolerate. So in the name of tolerance, we should not get exploited also. So that is important. So the fine line is you tolerate until and unless your purpose is hampered. Either it is material thing or most importantly your spiritual purpose. As soon as there is a disturbance in your spiritual life or in your material goals, then you should not tolerate, you should do the needful. That is what it is. All right. Like, so as I said, in principle, this is the case. I'll take one case study like Hanumanji from the Ramayana. So when Hanumanji, he went to Lanka, and all these demons, they're making fun of him, they're laughing at him, cracking jokes on him. Oh, monkey, look at him, and they're laughing. So it is kind of insult to an individual. Right? So Hanumanji tolerated that. He was never bothered. When it comes to your own something, so personal, something like, oh, how you can insult me and like that, you can tolerate to one extent. But as soon as they started talking, using some ill words about Lord Ramchandra, then Hanumanji could not tolerate. Immediately he was fire. Like he was furious to the extent that he put the whole Lanka on fire. So that pastime teaches us the lesson, what to tolerate, what not to tolerate. So we can tolerate. As Krishna says, Matra Sparshyastu Kaunteya Asitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agam Apaino Anityas Tamde Dikshasva Bharata. Principle is the Sukha and Dukkha, happiness and distress, and all of those things, that is the part of life. They are like Sita and Ushna, like the summer season and the winter season. So don't get too much consumed by all of those temporary phases of life. Do just needful something, whatever. Don't get consumed. That you are completely lost from your purpose just because you want to deal with one temporary phase of your life. So we should keep our purpose very clear in our mind, that what is the goal. Some little discomfort is there, no problem. Let me just tolerate this. But when it goes to the extent where you start getting disturbed in achieving your purpose, then immediately you should pay the attention to that. Right. So that is the principle. Okay. Is that answer, Mataji, your question?
Prabhuji, to one extent, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
I'm like let's say I'm just trying to give another example in the scenario deep down. Let's say there is some kind of injustice that we are witnessing every day. Okay, and like I would like to know what would be the case, like, because I heard one of the lectures from ISKCON that, where Ramji was trying to, when he was soon after being coronated, he was told by his father that he has to undergo exile. And he accepted that as his destiny, and he did not do anything, and he just went out and he did not fight for it. But that was actually unfair, but still he went out. And when the case of his wife got getting abducted, he immediately reacted and he went beyond his capacity to just go and fight that injustice. Although I cannot put a real life scenario as similar to that scenario, but I think you got the gist, right. Like, so if we kind
Yeah.
of witnessed
I'll explain.
injustice, when do I know when to act, and when do I know that okay, I just keep quiet and let
So I got
God
your
handle
question.
it.
Okay, let me answer this. So the underlying principle is dharma, that in all situations we have to follow our dharma. Now, what is your dharma in one situation may differ in another situation. So now dharma is also there's various gradations of dharma. So some dharma will take priority at one situation, another dharma will take priority in another situation. So in the first scenario which you mentioned, that Lord Ramchandra was about to coronated and then he was banished to the forest, right? So that time, as being a Kshatriya, his dharma is that he can fight for the justice, that this is not justice. How you can? And uh, like if you see, he was the ideal, he to take the take the seat as the king, right? So it was injustice for him. So ideally, as a Kshatriya dharma, he should fight for the justice. But now there is another dharma also comes into the scene, and that dharma is that is the son, putra dharma, pitra dharma, kula dharma. So like there's various gradations of dharma. So at one point he should fight, but then instead, considering that Kshatriya dharma on the higher pedal, he put that putra dharma and pitra dharma and kul dharma on the higher pedal. So as being an idle son, he cannot go against the word or the what father says, that is the system there in that time. Raghukul Reet Sada Chali Ai, Pran Jai Par Vachan Na Jai. So if father has given some word, and we know the story like how Dasharatha already committed to the Kekai, that okay. Now, because of Ram, his father's word should not go in vain. So that takes the superior position, that dharma, that my father's word should not go in vain. Because in the Kshatriya, in their kul, in their dynasty, that never happened. That if they say something, they'll go back on their words. Just because of Lord Ram, he becomes greedy that, oh, I want the seat and I have to fight. I don't care about what my father is, an old man. He just committed without even consulting with me. No. So you see that how dharma is taking the priority. Now, in the second scene, when the Ravana abducted Sita, then his dharma is pati dharma. And as being a husband, his first duty is to give protection to the wife. Right. So there he did not say that, okay, whatever, destined, let it happen. Maybe Sita was destined to get abducted like this. So what we can do? Let us surrender to the fate. No, you do your duty. So many times, what happens? People without uh, understanding, prematurely, they they take the decisions that okay, maybe that was destined for me. So why do unnecessary cry for that? Why do unnecessary lament for that? And not like that. It is not about it was destined or not. You do your dharma that time, whatever. Right. What is your dharma in that situation? You do that. And whatever is destiny, that will happen anyway. But you should not give up on your dharma. So that is the criteria. So we should understand dharma. Now, to understand what is dharma in what situation, it is very, very complex situation. And Krishna admits that in Bhagavad Gita in the fourth chapter. He says, Karmana Gehano Gati, Karmana hi api Bhotabhyam cha vikarmana. So Krishna is saying this karmana gehano gati means this law of karma is very, very complex. Like what seems to be like a dharma in one situation, the same thing becomes a dharma in another situation. So for an ordinary person to determine that what is dharma and what is not dharma, it's very confusing. It's very complex, and that is what Krishna says. Karmana gehano gati. It is very, very complex. One cannot understand that. That is when we need the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. They will guide us and at least have some association of spiritually elevated people. They can give you a different perspective that how to look at this situation, right? So like that, there's many stories comes to make all these points. Like there is one story, one person who was just passing through the forest, and then what happens? Some all this, some people started chasing him, with the intention of looting him and killing him. So he sensed that, and then he started running fast to escape. And it was forest, and somehow he saw that there's one small hut was there, and he just to protect himself, he just entered into that. And one sage was sitting there. He was sitting in meditation. Now the sage, he has taken the vow for lifetime vow that I will never speak a lie. That was his vow. Now a saintly person sitting in the forest, he not to speak a lie anytime because he is cut off from the world, sitting in his own hermitage in the forest and meditating. Now suddenly this person enters into his and he goes inside and hid himself. And he saw that somebody entered. And in just few seconds, some people came chasing him. And then he could understand that there's something serious about that. And now they came and they asked, did you see someone here? What we should do? What that person should do? His dharma is he had taken the vow that he will never speak a lie in his life. And that is his dharma now. Shall he speak lie or should speak truth? What he should do?
He should lie to save his life.
Yes. So that is why Krishna exactly, that is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That karmana jnanogati, all this to understand what is right and what is wrong is not easy to determine. That is why we need to understand more deeply that dharma also, this is called apad dharma. Shastra says. Apad means like some apada, some emergency situation. Then in some emergency situation, you can let go your dharma, regular dharma. Like his dharma is to never speak a lie. Now this is the emergency situation. So if you just get hold on to something without understanding the complexities of somebody's life, what is more important? And this speaking lie is not with the intention of cheating or with some any other ill intentions. It is only with the intention of saving someone. Right? So that is how we should understand what is the dharma. Dharma is speak a lie and save somebody's life. That becomes the higher dharma. So like that we need to understand carefully. And that is why we see that in the Mahabharata, in the battlefield, Yudhishthira Maharaj, we know that he never used to tell lie. He'll never speak lie. So he is very Satyavadi, always speak the truth. And that was his reputation. Everybody knows that Yudhishthira Maharaj, if he says something, that has to be the truth. And then we know that how that story comes, that Krishna wanted to trick Dronacharya because he was informidable. So he says Dronacharya has to be morally and emotionally he has to be weak in order to defeat him. So then what they did? Krishna goes to Yudhishthira Maharaj and he said that you have to say that Ashwathama is killed. Now Ashwathama was the son of Dronacharya, who was actually not killed. Now if Yudhishthira Maharaj make the announcement there and Dronacharya gets to hear that Ashwathama is killed, emotionally he'll suddenly, be in shock. And that time somebody can attack him and defeat him. Now Krishna goes and Krishna tells him that you announce that Ashwathama is killed. Yudhishthira Maharaj, though he knew that who is Krishna, he was hesitant to speak because he wanted to maintain his reputation. How can I speak lie? I never spoke lie. Now Krishna is also not telling him to speak the lie actually. There was an elephant whose name was also Ashwatha. That elephant was killed. So Krishna wanted to use that situation to trick Dronacharya. So it is not a lie, but it's a little tricky situation, not being very honest. So Krishna said that you say that Ashwathama is killed, and Dronacharya will understand, oh, my son is killed, like that. But this Yudhishthira Maharaj was quite hesitant for a moment. And for that, there are some consequences of that. At the end, they say. But then he understood. So the point is, what is the dharma? To maintain your own reputation, that, oh, no, I am Satyavadi, I am like this, I am great person, or follow Krishna's instruction. Same happened with Arjuna also. Right? What Arjuna's arguments were in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He gives various arguments, 5 arguments, and very, very thoughtfully. Like an ordinary person cannot even contemplate, meditate on all those kind of, arguments amidst of the battlefield, very intense situation, too much of anxiety. And there he could think that, and he put forth, that these are my reasons for not fighting, very valid reasons. But Krishna's point is, you have to kill. Now, from the moral point of view, ethical point of view, you should not be killing your own family members. Now, what is more important? To not to kill them or to follow what Krishna says, which is the dharma now. So that is why, that is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. What is the conclusion? 18.66. Krishna says, after speaking so many things in Bhagavad Gita, at the end he says, Sarv dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. That is the highest dharma, surrender to Krishna. And that is why Krishna says Sarv dharman parityaja. Many times people misunderstand this words itself. Say, why Krishna? Krishna is talking in Bhagavad Gita about dharma. And towards the end, he's saying, give up the dharma. So he's saying, what dharma you should give up? Any dharma which comes on your way to follow Krishna's instructions, your surrenderance to Krishna, anything comes, then you give up that. Right. So that is the topmost of dharma. So our criteria should always be that how my Krishna consciousness will be impacted by this decision, by doing this action. That should be the criteria. So that is how we should understand. Okay, somebody should take care of this case.
Hare Krishna
Yes.
Prabhu, thank you so much for those insight. Yeah, because this you said you mentioned which chapters should I go through, like, because it's really indeed complicated. That's what I noticed, because this question has many intricacies involved. Like, how do I know what my dharma is? And that dharma itself is like it's a midst of gunas and the karmas, right? And apart from that, I should also think about the higher level of dharma. And again, beyond all of this, then I should think about what is more greater good. I have to prioritize. So, where can I find some details of some other examples where I can, at least get some little more understanding in the Bhagavad Gita?
So everything is there in Bhagavad Gita, but to find that in Bhagavad Gita, you have to read Bhagavad Gita multiple times. If you think that one time I read Bhagavad Gita and I'll understand everything, it is a little difficult. So keep reading, and then if you become more interested, then read Bhagavatam. Then Srila Prabhupada has given us Chaitanya Charitamrita. Keep reading that, you will understand, and of course, keep attending these sessions and discussions. Gradually, the whole perspective is will build up. So that is the only way. It's not like one-time study and some specific and all that. One has to gradually, with practice, one had to develop that understanding of all of those things. Right? And just to address your point, what dharma I should do, and many people might have this question. So basically, there's many dharmas, but basically it can be categorized into two. One is called the occupational duties, and one is called the constitutional duties. Apara dharma and para dharma. Apara dharma means all these worldly duties that we have some based on our guna, karma, varna, and ashram. So we have to take care of our conditional duties, that we all have our own condition, like somebody is a grastha, somebody is a mom and dad, and then as a kid, and like you are a working person. So you have some dharma for yourself. So do that. And most importantly, parallelly, you have to take care of your paradharma also. And that paradharma is being explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the very beginning. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti adokshaje. What is the paradharma is bhakti of adokshaja. So adokshaja is one name of Krishna. So Krishna bhakti is the paradharma. That is the paradharma means the constitutional position. That is the highest dharma. So while performing our duties in this world, taking care of various roles and responsibilities, at the same time, we have to make sure that I am taking care of my highest dharma, which is my Krishna consciousness, which is my Krishna bhakti. And what kind of Krishna bhakti? Ahetuki apratihada. It should not be with any other motivation or any other intentions other than serving Krishna, praising Krishna. There should not be any other motivation. Oh, if I go chant Krishna's name, I go to temple, I read Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna should give me a good job, good this thing, good that thing. These are all like, one should not ask all those things. That is the highest dharma. Now again, there's nothing wrong in asking from Krishna, but as we grow, we become more mature on our spiritual life, then one should understand this will be like little foolishness to ask any of those material benedictions. Prabhupada gave that story that, how one old lady, she was, working hard in the, as a labor, and she was carrying a big load, like big bunch of the sticks on the head. Suddenly, she tripped, and then that stick, the bundle of sticks fell off. And she's an old lady, and suddenly, when it fell off, she just called out, "Oh my God," like that, something came out, and God comes there. And says, "Yes, I'm here. Tell me what." So, thank you. It's so nice of you that you came. I called. Can you please help me to put the sticks on my head? All right. This is what happens. And now we can laugh on this funny story, but interestingly, this is the story of all our life. Right? When we go to the temple in front of the Lord, what do we ask? put this burden, that burden, so many, already we are burdened here in this world. Thousands of varieties of burden. And then we go and ask, can you please make it a little more refined burden? Rather, we can ask that, can you just remove this burden once for all? But sometimes little foolishly we act and we end up asking something, this foolish thing. Right? So that is what Bhagavatam, when we read, we understand that when we talk about this bhakti, Krishna consciousness, what is the nature of this Krishna bhakti? It should be a hetuki. There should not be any hetu, there should not be any other motivation. Then only and only serving, pleasing, surrendering to Krishna wholeheartedly. That should be the only motivation. And it should be apratihata. Apratihata means it should be uninterrupted devotional service. Uninterrupted devotional service meaning that there should not be anything which can interrupt my bhakti. Oh, because this happened, I was not well, and something was going on. During COVID, I lost my job. So Mala, I stopped. I'm just, working on finding the job. So I gave Krishna also a little break. And there should not be any reason for your bhakti to get hampered. And that kind of bhakti Krishna is teaching, Bhagavatam is teaching. And that is the goal. And that is the highest dharma. So question is, what dharma we should do? We should do whatever roles and responsibility we had to do with best of our ability. But we should not get consumed by all of those. I want to become the best mom, best dad, best something, best student of the year, or something like that. You can aspire, but it should not be at the cost of compromising your highest dharma, which is your Krishna bhakti. You can become the best, no problem. Nothing wrong. But criteria, apply the criteria. And trying to become the best of something, am I losing my bhakti? If you're losing, then that is not a good deal. Rather, you step back. That should be the criteria as per the Bhagavad Gita. So these concepts might sounds like very lofty, but this is what the Bhagavad Gita is offering and Krishna is demanding.
You said two types, right, Prabhu? What can you just repeat those two types? Paradharma. What is it?
Paradharma and aparadharma. Apara is like inferior. Inferior in the sense like it is material dharma, material duties, occupational duties, based
Okay.
on our guna, karma, or varna. And somebody is brahmachari, somebody, grasta. So you have to take care of some household responsibilities and all of that. So whatever condition we are in, some roles and responsibilities are given to us. But ultimately, goal should be through all those roles and responsibilities, we should be going forward towards closer and closer to Krishna. And that is what is the paradharma. And that is what Krishna is saying. Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. That is the highest dharma. Surrender unto me. Come to my shelter.
So
Apply
in
this
such,
criteria.
if I'm not trying to be crude, but let's say I'm just giving you a very subtle example here. Let's say if I'm praying, I'm chanting, okay, and I'm in deep meditation state, and I'm really concentrating on that. But I always constantly see and hear from my neighborhood only. If I see constant threats of violence and constant beating and torture of innocent people, including children, and sometimes I feel that it might be too late where for me to act if I just keep quiet and just keep chanting and thinking about this. uh, it might affect both my chanting, and it might affect also the my inability to act, or I could be too late by when I can decide where I'm acting irresponsibly, because it's somebody's child, not just alone my child, but at the end it is injustice that I'm witnessing.
Tell them go to other room. Okay. Yeah. I got it.
So yeah, in such situations, should I give more weight to my chanting or my meditation state by surrendering, say, God,
These
you
are
just
all
take care of
practical
everything?
questions. Yeah, these are all practical questions. What we should do when your neighbors are threatening and all of those things. This you have to understand the practicality of how to deal with all those things. One simple thing is, if you are in a position, you have the strength, the power, the influence that you can handle all of those things, then go and deal with all those things. Somebody is coming, disturbing you and all of that. All right. And definitely we should do the needful if it is personally somebody is coming and disturbing you. But if it is not you, but you see something is happening in the society, some elements that are disturbing others and all of that, and you feel like, oh, no, I should not tolerate this injustice towards some poor and needy, so I should do something about that. Yes, you can definitely do, But first of all, you should understand what is your situation, what is your position. You are in a position to really deal with all those things. You just out of Josh, you enter into something without realizing that it is going to hurt you badly and it disturbs you. So rather, not to jump in that. Right? Again, criteria is same. Is anything which is hampering your spiritual life, then you take the necessary call. If it is not really disturbing so much of your spiritual life, then maybe just try to tolerate and do some little needful what you can do. Right? There is an incident from the life of the Goswamis. The Goswamis are like the disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 6 Goswamis. So among them, this Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they are the very senior most great exalted devotees, very, very scholarly, spiritually, materially, they are very affluent. They come from very affluent background. And then they renounced everything. They settled in Vrindavan, very renowned. And they're completely absorbed in what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu assigned them, some task, and all of that. So one time, this one person comes in Vrindavan. His name was Rup Narayan. And this person was a very, very scholarly person. And he was claiming himself to like Digvijay. Digvijay means he was such a scholar that he'll go and challenge any scholarly person. And then they will debate. And then if he debates, if he was such a scholarly person that he will defeat. And then he'll take the sign from that person that he got defeated by this Rup Narayan. So then that is one more like addition to his accomplishment like that. So he'll go, and that is how they'll just going different places, all the renowned scholars, to establish his supremacy, that I am the topmost scholar of the time. So he came to Vrindavan, and then he heard that Rup Goswami was the topmost scholar at the time. He came and challenged Rup Goswami, come and debate with me on the Shastra. Rup Goswami, what was his response? He challenged him. Rup Goswami said, oh, you are such a great scholar. I am some insignificant. Who told you that I am a scholar? I am not at all a scholar. Better you go and find some better scholar and then you debate with him. That will bring better reputation for him. If you, try to debate with me, it will reduce your reputation. This person, why you are debating with him like that? And actually speaking, Rupa Goswami would have defeated him in like seconds. That was his position. But now what is the criteria? How do we understand? One thing is there's multiple lessons that we can derive from this. One lesson is that all the great devotees, they never think themselves like great. They try to be humble. Now, more than that is for them, the another important criteria is that how does it help in my spiritual life? This person is coming, challenging me. If I defeat him also, does it help me to progress in my spiritual life? It's some kind of a material, this one accumulation that okay, you are also a scholar. More people will come and glorify you. It is rather instead of and step forward towards Krishna Bhakti, it is a kind of an obstacle. That unnecessary people are coming, glorifying, oh, you are such a great man and all that. So he considered that it's unnecessary disturbance for my spiritual practice. So then he said, no, no, no. You want sign, I'll give you the sign. He gave him the sign and he was very happy. And this foolish fellow, he was thinking that, I defeated him without even debating with him. But Rupa Goswami is very, very smart and intelligent. So I don't want to get into all these foolish things. So sometimes what happened, out of emotions, oh, look at this, these people are doing something, we have to raise our voice, something. Yes, as a responsible citizen, certain things we have to do. But also we need to understand how much we should do. There's thousands of things are going around in the world. And first of all, you understand what is our position. Like we are very, very insignificant. So you just take care of your family unless somebody is coming and attacking on you personally. Definitely we have to take the necessary call. And then second criteria should be I should focus on my spiritual life. Otherwise, there's thousands of things, and that is the trap of the Maya. Maya will be just keep giving you all those fascinating ideas. Do for the society, do for the nation, something, this, that. We can definitely do. But that is not considered the highest thing. Highest is we can do to progress in our spiritual path. Once for all, solve this problem of coming into this dirty place, come out from the jail. That is the solution. So don't try to make some adjustment, create some better situation inside the jail. So all these items, better society, better nation, this thing, that thing. Again, many people may not appreciate all those things, but we are talking in context of what is highest. And you can make a better nation, better society, something. Still inside the jail only. Everything is inside the jail. So that is the situation. Right. So that is how we should understand. So these are all very practical questions. And when somebody, really feel enthused about certain things which is going on in the society, better take some guidance, consult. And guidance also, it's important that from whom you take the guidance. If you go and take the guidance from the person with the same mentality, will be even more charged up. You'll say, okay, now I was thinking doing it from tomorrow, you'll start doing from today only. You go to the wrong person. So go to little more mature people, those who have different perspective on the situations, and that way you get to see from the different angle, and that might help you. That might impact your decision in a better way.
Yeah, Prabhuji, one way, the thing is, every day we face this situation. And one lesson I learned from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said very clearly, when you're attached to result, that's not your way. So all the situations, whatever you give, neighbor fighting and all, leaving aside hypothetical situations, when really it happens, are you attached for the results with your selfish interest? That's the main question. And if you're seeing you're attached to the result, then that's not the way to go. That is what I have seen. And if you feel you are detached and you can do it, then you can do it. And it is not that easy. 99% many times we do get attached, many times we do get detached. So the answer comes automatically.
Yeah, that's true. So Krishna talks about this Nishkam Karma Yoga, but this is very difficult and practically impractical to bring that. As soon as you get into something, get involved, our emotions are automatically invested into that. It's very difficult. So rather we invest our emotions in the right place, and that right place and the right person is Krishna. So involve your emotions only for Krishna and for Krishna's cause. That is important. And for Krishna's cause, you can fight, you can go to any extent. So that is what is the criteria. Right. So devotees are not like they're irresponsible people, or they don't do anything. They will do everything which is required for their own Krishna Bhakti or for Krishna's cause. And that should be the criteria. That is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. Okay, wonderful. So hope,
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
okay, anybody has any other question, or we have some people here also? Anybody has any question, please feel free to ask. Okay, so there's no question, then I'll just touch on somebody.
Sanatana Prabhu, I have one question.
Yeah.
If you have a minute. So how to deal with devotees? Because sometimes they try to use you.
They try to what? Use you.
Yeah, try to exploit you.
So if now one hypothetical answer is this, that if devotee try to use you, that is the best thing to get used for the devotees. That is the great fortune that you can be used in the service of the Vaishnavas, in the service of the devotees. But I understand your point is you are saying that they try to exploit. Then one should be a little mature enough not to get exploited. So just do the needful, better go and discuss. And many times some misunderstandings and misconceptions can be resolved over one conversation. We might be thinking of somebody trying to use me or exploit me, but there might be a different case. So we have to figure out, just go talk, take help from some senior devotees, bring in the notice of some concerned authorities. This is what I'm feeling. This is what is happening with me. What do you suggest? Can you, help us in some way? So these are all practical situations. But overall, Krishna says that we have to surrender. But Prabhupada explains at one place, surrender we have to do, but we should never surrender our intelligence. Don't surrender your intelligence. Surrender with intelligence. There's a difference. You surrender with intelligence versus you surrendered your intelligence only. You become blind. Okay, now I'm surrendering. Okay, do whatever you want to do with me. And there might be people, and of course in the devotee community also. See, what happens is the reality is this. Mostly people won't come unless somebody is little spiritually inclined and interested. But still, the doors are open for everyone, and there is no written test or entrance test who should come here. It is open for all. So there might be, most of them are like interested in spiritual progress, spiritual upliftment, but there might be some cases where people come with some ulterior motives for some other. You never know. Krishna only knows, and they might come in the community and try to take advantage in whatever way. Right. So then you should not surrender your intelligence. If you feel something, you see something like that, you observe something like that. At the same time, don't be too judgmental. Don't be too fast to judge someone. Oh, this person like that person like that. So take some guidance from more senior people and all that, and express your heart. So that is the principle. Rupa Goswami explains in the one of the book, which is called Nectar of Instruction. Nectar of Instruction means Updesha Amrit. So there are certain instructions are given. So one of the instruction is that how one can maintain the good relation in the community of devotees. It's important because the thousands of people come from different backgrounds, right? There might be clashes, even the devotee community. So there is a principle. So Rupa Goswami explained this principle. He said there are 6 items. Dadati prati granati guhyamakyati prachati munjate bhojyate cheva sadvidam priti lakshanam. So these are the lakshan. These are the symptoms of that how you can live in a community very lovingly, respecting each other. So he says 6 items. One is dadati prati granati. Dadati means you give, and prati granati means you accept. So there is a principle of giving gifts and accepting gifts. Now, these principles has given like these are all formulas, but we should go in detail and understand carefully. Now, this giving gifts and accepting gift is not like some kind of a which people do outside world also. It is your birthday. Okay, I bought some good gift for you. And then person will calculate in the mind that what would be the cost of this. So next time you make sure that at least the same price or maybe little more, you give them gift, not that kind of gift. Again, it becomes mundane and material. Gift means spiritual gifts. Like say, for example, somebody goes to say India and somebody goes to Vrindavan, for example. And then you think of, oh, some devotees are there back, I'm going back to US. So let me just carry some prasadam for everyone. Now, this is an expression of thinking about those devotees, you really care about them, about their spiritual thing. And then you brought some prasadam, that Prabhuji, Mandaji, just take some little prasadam I brought. So this is dadati prati granati. Not, it should not become on a mundane level. And Prabhuji, we have got, oh, you are so nice, we have got some nice gift for you. This much dollar. Everybody's mind goes into dollars only. So this is a contamination. We are all trying to come out from all those emotions through all these practices. So it should not lead there. So this is one principle. Now, of course, we'll maybe sometime in the future, we'll talk about all those principles. Rupa Goswami has given wonderful instructions. So dadati prati ganati. Now, another item is guhyam akhyati prachati. Now, this is very, very important. Guhyam means something confidential, something personal. Now, there is a principle when you get involved in some community and your goal is to progress in the spiritual life and you're trying to adopt that kind of a lifestyle, then there is a principle of guhyam akhyati prachati. Akhyati means speak, prachati means to ask. So something which is very confidential, which is very personal, and then you might feel hesitant. Oh, if I go and tell this to some devotee, they might feel, oh, you're such a third class person. I thought you were a great devotee. So let me just keep this inside only. You never open up. And that might be a big hurdle, stumbling block in your spiritual progress. Can be anything. Simple things. Somebody is not able to chant. And they say, oh, yeah, I'm chanting nicely. Now instead they think if I go and tell that I'm not able to chant, what they will think. And you never express and you'll never receive the help. And then you get stuck. So this is the principle, guhyam akhyati prachati, means one should reveal. Now, of course, again, as I said, these are all very broader principles. Don't go and randomly talk to someone, some random person, even in the devotee community, that what, this happened, that happened, something happened. We cannot reveal to each and everyone like that. So there has to be the right person who is spiritually mature enough to handle and to guide you spiritually. if when you express something, then somebody should be there on the level to give you some spiritual guidance. To that person, one should go and open your heart and then ask the whatever the solution and guidance. So that is the principle. So when you face some challenges, oh no, I don't like this Prabhuji, I don't like that Mataji, I'm not comfortable with these people. But if I go and tell someone, then what they will think, they will judge me that, oh, you are such a third class person. You are making this discrimination even in the temple and all that. But I'm not able to handle this. I'm getting too agitated with these people. What to do? Let me just go away. Sometimes people out of immaturity, they do something. But we should take the guidance that how to handle those things. You find some challenges, some things you did not like in the temple, or we didn't get the prasadam, we didn't, something was there, we were a little upset about that. So we may feel we are still conditioned, so we are still not on that level where we have crossed all those stages. So we might feel something, but don't conclude, don't judge the people around. Go, guya makyati brachati, talk, discuss, seek some guidance, some help, and then be more mature. So like that. So that is another principle. So when we read we read all these scriptures given by the acharyas, everything is there. All your answers, all your doubts, confusion, questions can be answered if we can read. So how to handle with the devotees and all that. This is one way of handling. One way is that you, on your personal level, go and talk to the devotee, with very gentle behavior, the humility. Say, Prabhuji Mataji, this is what is happening. So can we resolve this? If you think you are not able to resolve at your level, then go and go Makyadi. Talk to some senior, more mature spiritual leaders. They can help you. Okay. Hope that helps.
Thank you so much. Yeah, very helpful. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Harish.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. May I know that book that you were referring to, Nectarine of...
Yeah, this book is called Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami. Prabhupada translated it. And it is called Upadesha Amrit. It's a very small book. In this book, Rupa Goswami has given 11 verses. Very wonderful verses. I have done the series on that earlier, on the 11 verses, like few years back. Maybe sometime we'll start again. Very, very instructive verses. Okay.
Yeah, I love that book. When did you do those? I missed that, I guess. Yeah, I love this book. I read
We'll do
and
it again sometime. Yeah.
sure, please. That'll be wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, Sanatana.
For not recorded also. Okay.
Prabhuji, I had a question. This was a contradiction in the Krishna story. I think you had explained earlier also. So all along his life, Krishna did the work of Kshatriya, right? He fought Kans, he fought multiple people, even helped Arjun win the battle. And in a way, he was cause of also the deaths of many people because of the war, indirect. But there was one battle which was the Ranchod, where he could fight, but he left the battle, and that's why he's called. There's a temple for him near Gujarat in Gujarat called Ranchod Rai, and I think that was with Jarasan. So what was his rationale on not fighting Jarasan and defeating him, and was on that particular instance only?
Yeah. So that is why when we read the Bhagavatam, and which is the commentary given by the Acharya, then we understand that. How do we understand that? So in that particular story, that Krishna could have fought personally, but then Krishna was having, different purpose. So he started running, and then he entered into this one cave. And that cave, who was there in that cave? Oh, this one, Muchukunda. So that Muchukunda was there, and then he was in a sleeping state, and his situation was that if he wakes up prematurely from his sleep, and if he glances over someone, that person will be finished. So at the same time, Krishna wanted to wake that person up. And then, of course, Krishna is beyond all those things, that Krishna cannot be destroyed by Muchukunda's glance, but he want to keep those things and benediction intact. So Krishna used that. He tricked. So when he started running, he went inside the cave, and then he hid himself. And then this Jarasandha was chasing him. No,
No, it was someone else. I forgot.
What is that? Kal Yavana. He
Yeah.
was chasing this. Yeah. So then he entered, and then he thought that Krishna is sleeping here. And then he goes and then he glanced, this Muchukunda glanced, and he finished. He was finished. So like that Krishna does. That is why Krishna is famous as Leela Purushottam. He's very expert in doing this kind of Leela, this kind of pastimes, and which sounds sometimes like very tricky. But then, and many times people, blame those who are like little immature or ignorant people. They say, oh no, Krishna was not moral. He just did some politics. He made them fight and became the reason for killing so many people and all of that. So that is why you see how Vyasadeva has narrated the entire Bhagavatam. There are total 12 cantos. And all these pastimes, Krishna Leela comes only in 10th canto. So what is there in the first 9 cantos? He established Krishna's position. Who is this Krishna? Which he will talk in the 10th canto, who is this Krishna doing all these pastimes. So before you really enter into those pastimes, those stories, why Krishna is doing like that, why he's running, why he's tricking and all of that, first get educated that who is this Krishna. So through 9 cantos, we understand Krishna is not some ordinary person of this world. He is the supreme personality of Godhead, Sarva Karan Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. Everyone comes from him. The entire creation comes from him. Janmadhyasya yaton vayaditaras chardesho vignaswarat. That is the first words of Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains that entire creation, maintenance and annihilation, the root cause is Krishna. All this Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, from where they're coming? They're coming from Krishna. And like that, you see the various incarnations, their expansion of Krishna. So when you read carefully, then you understand this Krishna is off the scale. So one should not try to bring him down somewhere. Oh, why he ran like that? Whatever he does, that is become the dharma. So that is what the scriptures also say. That anything which comes from Krishna, that is the dharma. So from an ordinary point of view, it might look sometimes very immoral, unethical or something like that. But we should understand if Krishna is doing something, that is the highest dharma. Okay, yeah. So yeah, when we read all those stories, Prabhupada has given nice detailed explanation in the Krishna book. So we'll get the answers to all of those things. Those who want to read a little more about those stories. Okay. That answers, Sachinji, your question?
Yes, that is.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll just touch on a little bit. Now we don't have much time, but I'll just a little bit touch base on this. Ratha Yatra season is going on. Many of you might be already familiar. We already did like 2 weeks back in our temple, Jagannath Ratha Yatra. So I'll just tell a little significance of why this Ratha Yatra. What is the? It's a long story that itself can be like 1 or 2 sessions, but I'll just give some brief understanding on this Ratha Yatra. So Ratha Yatra has some connection. So this Ratha Yatra is for the Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra. Jagannath is Krishna, Baldev is Balramji, and Subhadra is their sister. And they go in the chariot. It's a procession that comes out. And it's a celebration, it's a festival of chariot. Age-old tradition, which is this festival is coming originally from Jagannath Puri in Odisha, in India. And what is the background of that is, so there is a connection of this festival from Vrindavan. The story is from Vrindavan. Now, maybe in some other time we'll talk about the Jagannath form itself. Like you see how Krishna's form, and when you see Jagannath form, that looks a little different. You see the big eyes like dilated, and there's hands like this, and you don't see the palm and all of that. So it looks like incomplete, deformed deity. But there is a beautiful story in past time why Jagannath form is like that. Maybe some other time. It's beyond the scope of today's discussion. So what happened that we all know that how Krishna in a very young age, in very early age, he left Vrindavan. He was just 10 or 11-year-old. He left Vrindavan, and Krishna's position in Vrindavan was he was the darling of Vrindavan. Like everybody loved him like anything. They couldn't imagine, they couldn't think life without Krishna in Vrindavan. And Krishna left on the plea of that Akrurji comes, and then he invites for that to Mathura. That Kamsa has some plan to kill him and all of that. So Krishna said, okay, I'll just go, and maybe by the evening I'll be back. Like Mathura and Vrindavan is like very close, few miles. right? So they were very hopeful that Krishna will come. So all the Brajvasis, all the Vrindavanvasis, they're waiting outside in the house. They did not even enter in the house. So anyway, when Krishna will come back, we'll also go inside house. So like that, they're waiting. And then Krishna goes there. And Krishna, interestingly, never returned back to Vrindavan. Now it's a long story. I'm just telling in very brief. Due to whatever reasons, Krishna never returned back once he left. All these Vrajvasis, their life was not possible without Krishna. They're constantly crying and crying, right? Now, how do we understand that? Why there's various reasons that why Krishna did not come back, because Krishna went to Mathura, he killed this Kamsa, and then he has to take over. So he got kind of, caught up with all taking care and all that. And also at the same time, because of killing Kamsa, who was a big demon. So now Krishna started contemplating that I have already created a lot of enmity, so many people. Vrindavan, he was like enjoying freely. Now you killed someone, his relatives and all those people. These are naturally there is enmity created now. So I was thinking now I'll go back to Vrindavan and all these enemies, they'll come to attack on me. I don't want that there should be any harm to any Vrindavanvasi. So that was his love for Vrindavanvasi. Then he decided better not to go only. And also he got caught up in all of that. So that was happening. And then now question can be raised, okay, Krishna did not come, understood. But these Vrajvasis could have come, no? Because anyway, just like few miles away. So they were really feeling that much of separation from Krishna. So they would have come maybe just sometime to meet once in a while like that. So why these people did not come? Now the Acharyas give the understanding that they give the understanding why Krishna, these Brajvasis did not come, never came back to see Krishna in Mathura. So say though it is very close, Mathura and Vrindavan, demographically, but you see actually it is very close, but still it is very, very far. How it is very, very far? That has been explained. That how Mathura and Vrindavan is far. So it says, what all this Brajavasi used to see Krishna as Vrindavan Krishna, like a coward boy. When he went to Mathura, he was not a coward boy. His whole, the mood was changed. He was like a king there, more of, very royal. So all these Brajavasis couldn't connect with Krishna in that particular form. So they became very far off. They got far apart. So they never went there. So long story short, then later Krishna moved to Mathura and life was going on. And here in Vrindavan, they've been still waiting. And then also another reason that Acharyas gives, that why Krishna never came back to see them. Like after a while, he would have settled everything what's going on. He would have decided to, okay, let me just go and meet them at least for a day to pacify them. So Acharyas gives the reason, like, when you see the hot pan, when it is hot, you put some drops of water, then it damages the pan. And instead of, you can put some drops of water with the idea of cooling it down. When it doesn't cool it down, it actually spoils the pan. You put some few drops like that. So Krishna thought that these people is feeling intense separation from me, like a burning hot pan. If I go just for the time being, because I had to come back, that will become even, that situation will become even worse. So better not to go, right? And now somebody will say that they're feeling separation. It was such intense separation that out of that pain of separation, that feeling of separation, the Vrindavan Vasi would have died. So why Krishna was becoming so cruel and not, caring and concerning that what if somebody dies there out of feeling separation, So the Acharyas give another reason, another explanation. They say that it was not possible for Brajvasis to die. Though it was like unbearable pain, that feeling of separation from Krishna, but that option was not there to die. Reason being is they cannot die. For them, dying is easy than feeling the pain. But they cannot die. Reason being, because Krishna gave them the promise, I'll come back. And their thought process is, what if Krishna comes back and he finds out that they died? That will give Krishna pain that, oh, they died because of me. So that Krishna will feel bad. So we cannot die also to make him feel bad like that. So these are all very intense emotions in that Vrindavan. So ultimately what happened, they never met actually. And then later Krishna moved to Dwarka. So after many, many years, there was always from both the sides, from Krishna, from Brajvasis, there always a desire, longing to meet. And there was this time on the plea of there was this solar eclipse. So they thought, okay, let us take this opportunity, because in Vedic tradition, what happens when there is a Surya Grahan, the solar eclipse, then they have to go to some place of pilgrimage. And then in the holy river, you have to take the dip after the Grahan so that you purify yourself. So then all the Brajvasis, they decided, okay, let us go to Kurukshetra. And then Krishna also decided, let us just go to Kurukshetra and then we'll meet. It's been long pending. So there is a meeting between all the Brajvasis, especially the gopis, and Krishna, Balram, and some queens from Dwarika. And they met in Kurukshetra. So now, this Vrindavan Krishna versus Dwarika Krishna, they're two different Krishna. Vrindavan Krishna means like he is very coward form and like that, playing flute, putting some peacock feather, that form. But in Dwarka, Krishna is a king. So in a very royal dress, royally dressed, with all the chariot and all the army and horses and all of that. So Krishna came in that royal, attire. And all these Brajvasis and the gopis, they couldn't connect with Krishna. This is what happened to him. Why is he has become like this? They couldn't connect emotionally. So then they're pleading. Now these are all long descriptions. It comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. But then this gopi is very, intensely they're feeling, and they're saying, no, Krishna, you have to come back to Vrindavan now. It's been long, that you have been away and you tricked us. But now you're here, we cannot let you go like that. So you have to come to Vrindavan this time. Don't go to Dwarika. So Krishna is sitting in a chariot like a royal king. And all these gopis, all Brajvasis, they're pulling his chariot towards Vrindavan. He trying to go to Dwarika, but saying, no, you cannot go to Dwarika, you have to come to Vrindavan. So that particular episode, that particular pastime has been celebrated as Rath Yatra festival, wherein Krishna in the form of Jagannath, Jagannath is treated very royally, So there is a Jagannath temple. Those who have attended, those who have gone to Puri, you might know a little bit. So there's a main temple, Jagannath temple, and then like few miles away on the same straight road, it's called the Grand Road in Puri. So there is another temple which is called Gundicha temple. So Gundicha is one of the, I think, relative of Krishna. So the Gundicha is considered as the Vrindavan. The mood of the devotees there is the mood of that Vrindavan. And that Puri temple, the Jagannath temple, is more of like Dwarika. So Krishna comes out and all these people, they pull him towards Gundicha temple. So this Rath Yatra happens from Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple, where all the thousands and thousands, millions of devotees around the world, they gather there and they pull Krishna on the chariot, who's sitting like a king. Says, enough, you have enjoyed enough all this royal treatment, come to Vrindavan. So they literally pulled him and Krishna goes there. And then 7 days Krishna stays there. And there is a special kind of a treatment is given to Krishna there in Gundicha temple. So he leaves his temple. These 7 days, Jagannath temple is closed because Jagannath is not there inside. He's on the chariot, and then 1 or 2 days the chariot reaches to Gundicha temple, and then he goes inside. And there, all the devotees they serve him. And then finally, Krishna again takes leave and he says, okay, now you're happy and let me go back. Then Krishna comes back. That this is called Bahula Yatra. Bahula means the return journey. This is called Rath Yatra. And then there is after 7 days, there's a return journey. So the Rath has to come back now. Same to Jagannath. So then Jagannath comes back in the chariot. And then there's a lot of, wonderful traditions and rituals. It's very beautiful. And every single ritual have their own significance. So in fact, before the Rath Yatra, there is something called Snan Yatra. So just before 15 days of Rath Yatra day, they give snan, like they give bath, because we know that how Jagannath deities are made of wood. So generally the wood, they don't do daily abhishekam. Once in a year, they say, okay, once in a year you should take bath. Like in this America also you can see, not once in a year, but at least once in a week, people take bath here. So maybe just trying to follow in the footsteps of Jagannath a little bit. So then they give the bath. It's a very royal bath they give. and a lot of water they pour, and then because of that, what happens? Jagannath ji falls sick. Now these are all leela. Only devotees can understand and appreciate and relish all these kind of pastimes. People is what you are talking is God is falling sick. So we have to understand from the different perspective. So because of the lot of water, he falls sick, and then 15 days he's not giving darshan. So before Rath Yatra, 15 days temple is closed. And what is happening? He's sick. Then there's a lot of treatment is going on. So instead of eating the regular, all the chappan bhog and all that, Jagannath ji for 15 days he had to eat all these herbs and all of that, like some medicines like that. And then he becomes healthy and he says, okay, let me just go for a walk. He comes out and these people start pulling him. So there is a connection with all this Vrindavan story like that. In brief, maybe some other time we'll discuss that. And then Bahula Yatra, then he comes back and then he finds the doors are closed. Jagannath temple is closed. No, they're knocking. Please open. I'm back here. Doors are not open. Because what happens? He was away from 7 days. So then queens in Dwarka, they are little upset, disappointed. You left just like that. You cannot come back. Just be outside only. So that is the mood. So then they knock and then there's a lot of rituals happens. And then, Jagannath ji is Panda, the priest. They make some special sweet, some rasgulla. They try to pacify the queens. Please eat something why you're angry like that. So that mood, Krishna in Dwarika like a king and the queens and loving reciprocations and all of those things. So this beautiful, all these rituals and traditions are there. So that is what is the festival of Rath Yatra. There's much more we can discuss about. We can understand that what this Rath Yatra signifies, what we can learn from this Rath Yatra. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during his manifest pastime, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every year he attended this Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. And they used to do a lot of kirtan. And there's a lot of leela and pastimes happened during that Rath Yatra, which teaches us wonderful lessons. So one time, just to give one more last story. So this Ratha, what happens, it's very mystical sometimes, the thousands of devotees they pull. And sometimes even thousands and thousands of people are pulling, it doesn't move only. Now nobody understands why it is not moving. There's no clue. Just like that. So understanding is Lord will move by his own sweet will. Lord, you cannot pull the Lord with your power. No, I'm strong. I can pull the Lord. No. You can try, but unless Lord decide to come, you cannot get the Lord. Right? So sometimes people say, oh no, when I chant Hare Krishna, I don't feel there's nothing is coming from the heart and all of that. It will not come by your own endeavor. You just be sincere in what you're doing. And then when Krishna decides by his own sweet will, he'll give you the reciprocations, the experience, the feeling, the ecstasy, whatever will come. So one time what happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when they are doing a lot of kirtan, and then suddenly this Ratha stops, chariot stops, and then they deployed some elephants because the king has to personally participate. So king says, okay, bring all the elephants. They had to pull. So all the elephants they're trying to pull, but it is not moving only. And it hours and hours. They were wondering like what to do about it. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was doing the kirtan, he was in ecstasy, and he started, dancing. He was dancing, but he started going at the backside of the Ratha. And in that ecstasy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touches his head and he pushed little bit with his head, and then Ratha starts to move. So there is a lesson. Lesson is that one cannot, and there is one verse in the scriptures which says, I'm just forgetting the verse. This is something related to Balhinena Labhya, that one who doesn't have the strength cannot receive the Lord. Now, this strength is not about pulling strength, that you are very physically strong, stout, you can get the Lord in your life. No, it's a different bal. Bal of strength of your spiritual emotions. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed he was full in ecstasy, touched the chariot little bit with his head, and Ratha started to move. So that is the way. So like that, you can understand. And our, our Srila Prabhupada was very, very fond of, right from his childhood, Prabhupada was very, very fond of Rath Yatra. Prabhupada shares later, when he was a small child, he always used to, think about that when I'll go to Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra, when he was a small child, those days. And Prabhupada says, when I grew up a little bit, and then I started going to railway station. Prabhupada was in Calcutta in those days, in his younger days. He goes to railway station to check what and all train goes to Jagannath Puri. So he'll make plans. One day in this train, how long it will take, like that. So he was very, very fond of. In fact, when Prabhupada was just 5-year-old, he had the desire to conduct a Rath Yatra. Like now, just imagine a boy, a child, was just 5-year-old. So Prabhupada was crying to his father that I want to do the Rath Yatra. So he says, how you'll do? So then his father was also very loving. He says, okay, let me just get you one chariot first. So then his father got him one small baby chariot. And then Prabhupada, actually, when he was 5-year-old, he conducted the first Rath Yatra, like a child's play. All the children in the street, they gathered, and there is a small Jagannath, and there's some pictures you can find, not the real pictures, but some drawings that Prabhupada is pulling. And then some of the kids, they are playing some kirtan, mridanga, and the mother, she cooked a lot of prasad, they're distributing and all of that. And it became a very grand celebration. So then some of like Prabhupada shared that some of my friends of my father, they're saying that, oh, you did not invite us for such a big festival. Prabhupada said that my father used to say, oh no, it was some children's play. He said, this is not a play, this is like such a big festival like that. So he was very, very fond. And then the biggest, the contribution, one of the biggest contribution that Prabhupada had done. See that how Jagannath, the meaning of Jagannath is Jagannath. If you break this word, it is Jagat Nath. Is one who's the Lord of the entire universe. Jagat means the whole universe. So one who's the Lord of the entire universe is Jagannath. See, all these years, whatever, more than like 500 years, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years back. All these years, Jagannath, who is the Lord, who is supposed to be the Lord of the universe, he was sitting only within the boundaries of one place, which is Odisha in Puri. So then Prabhupada first time he says, you are not Puri Nath, you are Jagannath. Why you are just restricted and constrained to just Puri? You should go to the whole world. And this is that Prabhupada was the pure devotee who pulled Jagannath from Puri and brought Jagannath around the world. Now today, you see, you go to any country in the world, you will see some Hare Krishna devotee, they might be doing some Rath Yatra somewhere. So that was never happened in the history. So Prabhupada conducted first ever Rath Yatra in the history of the entire humanity in San Francisco in 1967. And it was a huge chariot, and they conducted big procession. You can find those pictures like if you go and see. So like that. And then gradually they started to introduce this Rath Yatra festival in all the temples, on Hare Krishna temples in New York and all those places. And one time, I think in Manhattan, the governor declared the national, not national holiday, but the city holiday, like for the Rath Yatra day. It was celebrated for a few years, like that. So it became a world famous festival. So the Prabhupada plays a very, very significant role in making this festival as a worldwide festival. Now, everybody knows about this festival. So that is just little few ideas of Jagannath. Some stories. There's a lot of stories, beautiful stories. Maybe one last story. How Jagannath came to America. Jagannath was always there in Puri. How Jagannath ji came to America. Now this is a very fascinating story. So Prabhupada was like, it was in the very beginning days of this Hare Krishna. And then, in San Francisco, there was a temple. So some of the disciples, this young American boys and girls, disciples of Srila Prabhupada. So one of the Mataji, I think I'm forgetting the name, which Mataji, it was Malti Mataji or something, I'm not sure. So one of the disciples of Prabhupada is an American girl who accepted Prabhupada as Guru. So she went to one store locally and she found something very attractive, some small doll. And then she thought, oh, it looks very different and very attractive, this doll. So let me just buy this doll. Probably, when Prabhupada visits next time, I'll just offer this to Prabhupada. But she didn't know. She was just fascinated about some doll, small doll. And Prabhupada was there in our office. So this Mataji comes brought that one small doll, kept on the table of Prabhupada in the office. And then she was waiting and, very excited about that how Prabhupada will react to this, like respond to that, something special. And she didn't have any background that what it is. And then Prabhupada, as soon as he enters into his office, he saw on the table, and as soon as he saw on the table something is kept, Prabhupada paid like full obeisance, like full dandavat. And these people are wondering, like, why is doing this to, some doll? And Prabhupada got up, and then Prabhupada was very curious that who brought this. So when Prabhupada asked who brought this, she was a little scared first. But why is asking that who brought this? And then she hesitantly said that Prabhupada, I brought it. Says, but why only one? There should be two more. Says, yeah, I saw there's a couple of three of them, but I like this the most. That was Jagannath Ji's small statue, just a small deity. And then she said that I like this the most, so I thought I'll give you as a gift. And Prabhupada said, no, they all should be together. So go quickly and then find the two of them before, somebody take them away and they get missed. And then this Mataji goes running back to the store and she found the two more. And then Jagannath, Baldev, and then Subhadra. Now, for these people, there might be like some doll, some attractive doll or something. They might be selling like that. And then Prabhupada called one of his disciples, his name was Shyam Sundar Prabhu. He was very good in carving. So then Prabhupada called him. And then Prabhupada says, now they're all very new people still. It was like early days, 66, 67, those days. And they're not yet practicing, they're not become fully devotee, they're still learning and all of that. They don't know the Indian culture, they don't know how to deal with the deities and all of that. Culture is not there. So Prabhupada called the Shyam Sundar Prabhu. He said that you're very good in carving. So here are the three dolls. Can you make the bigger, size of these dolls? He says, yeah, I can try. So then the Shyam Sundar Prabhu's seva was, he got a wood log, and he started carving the deities on the terrace. Now this is something very interesting. How it happened? He was still, like American, young boy, coming to temple. Prabhupada just assigned, and they were very respectful to Prabhupada. He says, okay, you ask, I'll do for you. And then one time Prabhupada thought that, let me just go and see that what is the progress going on. And he was very sincerely working on that, carving the deity. So when Prabhupada came on the terrace to see that, so what he found was something strange. So that this Prabhu, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, still that time he was not Prabhu. Some American name that time. So he was carving the deity with one hand and something. And then in one hand, another hand, like in his mouth, he was smoking the cigarette. And that is how he was carving the deity. So this is how these people, like, they don't know like who Jagannath, what is this and all of that. So then Prabhupada, and then the cigarette packet was kept on the head of Jagannath. So like that, he kept the packet there, smoking, and with one hand he was working like this. Prabhupada came there. Prabhupada says, Shyam Sundar, why the cigarette is coming between you and Jagannath? Remove this. Like Prabhupada was also very, very gentle. He was not like very upset or angry or something. Because he knew that these people doesn't have the culture of all those things. They don't even understand. So very gently, very lovingly, Prabhupada says that why the cigarette is coming between you and Jagannath. Prabhupada was, holding that stick. And he took the stick and he just kicked that cigarette packet out. Said the cigarette should never come between you and Jagannath. And then the Shyam Sundar Prabhu shared that he gave up the cigarette and all of that. So that is how that first deity of ISKCON was that Jagannath deity. They're carved and then they were installed. And then they started worshipping and all of that. And then Jagannath went around the world now today. So these are all very fascinating stories about all these Ratha Yatra and all that festival. Okay, so I think we already spent a lot of time. So those who are joining us first time, we do all these sessions. One very quick announcement and very important announcement. Next Saturday evening, this Gita Life will be having a very, very special session. One of our very senior devotee, Chanchalpati Prabhu from ISKCON Bangalore. He's very, very senior, like 40 years he has been in the movement. One of the senior leader from our movement. He's the vice president of ISKCON Bangalore Temple and GBC member of US, chapters. So he's visiting us. He's already there in US. He's in Boston currently. He'll be coming to Milpitas Temple. So next Saturday evening, the special session is planned, and it will be conducted by, he'll be giving a lecture. So feel free to join. And those who are coming new, for them, the announcement is we do these sessions called the Gita Live sessions every Saturday evening, 6 to 7, and we do it online also on the Zoom and in person. So please join. And next Saturday it will be a wonderful, learning lessons from a very, very senior and experienced and spiritually, advanced devotee. So the sessions will be posting the details soon in the groups, but it will be 5 to 7, not regular. Like generally we have 6 to 7, 7:15, but next Saturday it will be 5 to 7. So please plan, block your calendars, come and then participate. So this session will be the series of sessions on Saturday and Sunday. So 5 to 7 on Saturday and 5 to 7 on Sunday evening also, after our Sunday program in the afternoon. So please make a note of it and then join it. Okay.
The Zoom link would be the same, Prabhu? For the
Yeah,
next
share in the groups. It will be shared in the groups.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. So those who are coming first time, we'll just quickly in another 5-6 minutes, we'll be chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. All of you are familiar? I see some new faces here. Some of you are new to all this. Okay, no problem. It is very easy. I'll show you that how to do this. So we chant this Hare Krishna mantra, which I'll share on the screen. So on the mala, we'll be chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This full mantra on one beat we chant. Then we move to the next beat and chant the full mantra. Like that, 108 times we'll be chanting this mantra. Very simple. Important is we should chant this mantra loudly always, not in the mind. So it is a mantra meditation, or we call it sound meditation. So you chant the mantra and hear attentively. That's the process. And you can practice it every day. You can practice it any time of the day. There's no rules and regulations, hard and fast, something like that. Okay, so we'll be doing this now. And before we start, on the center beat, we chant one Panchatattva mantra, which is like a prayer before we start. So let me just show for those who are coming new. So you can see on the screen and then. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. Okay, so you can see and repeat after me, and then Hare Krishna mantra will all be chanting. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Charine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshidarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Now we'll all chant together Hare Krishna mantra. On each beat, we have to chant the full mantra, chant loud and clear and hear attentively. We'll chant together. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna